Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. I was just asked a question in the comments, which I just love to read every day. I never know what you're all going to say or what you're all going to ask, and I just so enjoy it more and more every day with my channel. However, this one topic may be very emotional for me to talk about because I have a lot to say and I'm not even sure if I can say it all in one video. But I will keep this below 20 minutes, even though some of you have said it's okay if I go over. And if I have to do a follow-up video, I will. But it has to do with, and this person asked, how do I know my purpose? How do I know how to be authentic? How do I find my purpose? And how do I find meaning in life? And those are such great questions, and I have so much to say about those. And I may jump around a little bit, but I'm going to try to stay organized. And again, these are just my thoughts, my own personal sense of how I have experienced my own life and what I feel intuitively. Now, gosh, I don't even know where to start. First of all, there seems to be a lot of focus on finding our purpose. And if you really think about it, how do you know if you will ever find it? Honestly. How do you know it's only one thing? Right? Your purpose today might be different from a purpose that has yet to be. Tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now. I don't think we have just one purpose. And I don't think there is just one meaning in life. And gosh, I'm just getting started. There is just so much for me to say on this. Before I forget, I need to say this. I don't think we will ever know. And the reason is we are just merely humans. We will never have, well, never say never, but I believe that we were not given the capacity to ever know. Why? Because if we ever knew, there would be people who would feel overwhelmed and worried that they may not fulfill their assigned purpose. They might not be able to understand the meaning in life that they believe they are required to fulfill. And there will be people who exploit it. And I think that we are here with a limited freedom of choice, and I say limited because we are forced to live in various societies who try to force us into the way we live. And being authentic requires us to question every single thing that we've ever been taught, ever been told, or ever been encouraged to think, do, or say. And I think that has a lot to do with why people find it so very difficult to be authentic these days. Because first of all, what is being authentic, right? And I have a feeling that many of you understand what it is. Because being authentic is a very difficult concept unless you've arrived at a place in your life where you feel completely at ease, have embraced acceptance, not only in yourself, but what has happened to you. And you can speak your mind without any concern or worry about what others think, and that you are proud to be who you are, and you feel very comfortable and at home with who you are. And when you arrive at that place where you know who you are and you are your own best friend, and you are so secure no one can ever shake you, that is authentic. That is being authentic. Yet, the outside world will make it very difficult for you to be authentic because society is not. And I'm not sure which country you live in, but I believe that most organized groups of whatever kind, you can call it whatever you want, but organized groups with a group mentality do not want authenticity, because authenticity is a threat to group mentality. Whether it be religion, whether it be society, whether it be anything. If you don't join the masses, you are viewed as a threat. And so, in today's world, and I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I've been thinking about where my channel is going, because I will always be myself. I will always be authentic. And it so greatly saddens me to see many YouTube channels teaching people how to be authentic, because I think people are forgetting how to be, or perhaps have never even learned, or are afraid to be authentic. Because in this digital space, it gives you such opportunity not to be. And when you follow the trends and you follow the masses, it is much easier to be accepted. However, I believe that when you do that, you will lose yourself. And how do I know? Because I lived most of my life being what other people wanted me to be. Whether it was a wife, a coworker, a daughter, a neighbor, a friend. I didn't think anybody would like me if I said what I really thought, if I showed my true feelings. I was afraid of rejection. And who wants that, right? However, over time, I felt myself slipping away into nothingness. And I've mentioned this before, but the real me, which was like a candle flame, was sputtering, barely able to continue. And I realized that if I had to save myself, I had to save that flame. And that flame was my authenticity. And I wrote about it in my book, I See the Elephant. Now, it is a choice whether you want to be authentic or not. But I can honestly tell you that there is nothing more rewarding in this world than just being yourself and finding the real value in who you really are. Now I'm going to talk about purpose. And I'm going to try to stay on track with this one because it's just a huge concept, and it's very emotional for me to say this because if you've read my other book, There Is a Something, I have a very unique perspective on what our purpose is. And first of all, I think it goes back to, and this is not meant at any one person, but I believe that we are a bit, oh boy, what am I trying to say? Presumptuous to think that we should even know what our purpose is. I mean, why are we so entitled, right? I believe our purpose will always be an unknown. Because here's an example. You are affecting people in your life, good or bad, every day, whether you know it or not. You are either encouraging someone, discouraging someone, helping someone, harming someone, or giving them a new opportunity they didn't have before they met you. And I believe every day presents a new opportunity for a new purpose. So if you think about your life in terms of being here for just one purpose, I think that is very misleading. And that is what gives people a false sense of purpose. And we also tend to think that our purpose must be something grand. It must be something so huge that it brought us here in the first place, right? Well, I don't agree with that either. I think we were given a gift to be here because it's a miracle in itself, if you think about it, how we even made it. And if you're healthy, that's yet another miracle in itself. And we are given the opportunity to create even more purposes that we can be conscious of. And by that I mean we can consciously try to do more and be more purposeful than we may be doing without even being aware of. Such as what I'm trying to do with my channel. And I never thought I would be able to be as encouraging or enlightening, is that a word? Did I say that right? As I am. And the only way that I could find out was to just try and start from zero, which is what I did with my channel. And if you believe that you have a desire to do something, that desire may very well be telling you that that is your purpose. And the only way to achieve that purpose is to follow that desire and ignore doubt, ignore fear, and follow that desire and that passion. Because I'm quite sure that is your purpose. And I also believe that is why we are so different. Can you imagine if we were all the same? How boring that would be, right? Some people absolutely are driven to write books. Some people are extremely gifted musically. Some people are gifted to build things. And some people are very gifted scientifically. And together, we bring to the world our own unique purposes. Now, I also think and have lived this way because for many years I was very miserable because I was not being true to myself and I was following a false sense of who I was. Yet deep down, I knew that I was not. And I think we all do. If we're miserable and we feel unfulfilled and we have this gnawing, ugly feeling inside that we should be doing something else. And I think that feeling is telling us that we're ignoring our purpose or purposes. Now, gosh, this is like a spider web. I could start one way and go off into just so many different aspects of this concept. I think and I believe that our passions are indicators of our purpose. And if you feel unfulfilled, that means you're not following what you're meant to do, meant to say, meant to express, or meant to explore. And even if you don't know what you believe your purpose is, there is something, I'm quite sure, that you feel passionate about. You may have forgotten about it. It may have been left behind in your childhood. Think back when you were a kid. What did you love to do? What made you feel alive and free and excited and connected to the world. What made you feel like that? Because we forget sometimes what it was like to be that innocent. And we're drawn into a world of responsibility and structure and obligation, which I was. And I felt that all those childish emotions really were just childish and nothing more. But honestly, I feel like I'm a kid again because I'm embracing all those emotions and all those passions I had when I was a kid. And that is to say what I think, say what I feel, express myself, enjoy life, and value things in a very, very simple and honest way. So again, back to purpose. And this is just my own opinion. We don't have just one. And sometimes you may have just changed someone's day for the good by just giving them a smile or reaching up on a shelf for an item that was too tall, that was too high for someone else. You might have shown them a bit of kindness when they were having a bad day. Or you might have done the opposite. You might have been really nasty to somebody and hurt someone's feelings. And they may have decided not to be like you. And you'll never know it because you may never see that person again. And I think we assume that we're not affecting people every day when we really are. Because look at it this way. Every time you see someone or you talk to someone, you're affecting them in one way or another. And they're affecting you. Because we're all connected. And we all exchange energy and thoughts and feelings and emotions. Even if you don't want to, you are. Even if you live like a hermit like me. Even if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would still be seeing people on occasion. Grocery shopping, getting gas, whatever. Now, how to find your authentic self? Let your authentic self find you. Because it's there. And it may very well be buried the way mine was. Mine was buried beneath jobs I despised, behind relationships I knew were wrong for me, behind actions I took when I knew I could have done better. It's that little nagging voice telling you, are you sure you really want to do that? Are you sure you really want to agree with that person? Because you're saying things that you know you don't believe in. Are you just doing that to belong? Or is that how you really feel? And you can even go home at the end of the day and make notes about what may seem silly. But ask yourself, did you really mean to say that to that person? Did you really mean to do what you did that day? And if you come up with a bunch of no's, then turn the paper over and answer those same questions how you would have rather have responded. And this is all just coming from the top of my head. But when I suddenly decided that I wasn't going to be fake anymore, and that was at age 40, I just did a complete 180 because I was sick of the bullshit. And in a way, I didn't care what anybody thought because I assumed nobody would like me. And so I had a kind of a negative attitude and a very defensive one because I had never done this before. But I was determined to do it, and that was to just be myself. And you know what happened? I became very happy, very fulfilled, very proud of myself, and not at odds with the world anymore. Because when you're not fighting with yourself and being in a tormented state of mind, everything becomes easier. Because once you accept who you are and you love who you are and you know who you are, there's no point in conflict with anybody else. There's no reason to become involved with negativity or relationships that aren't good for you, because there's no point. So I'm up to 20 minutes. I got carried away. Please feel free to ask me questions, because I could do a follow-up video on this. I feel like I just barely touched the surface. And I so love my channel. I get tremendous, tremendous fulfillment out of creating these videos and just offering what I believe and how I've lived, in hopes that they're helpful to you. And I hope I live 20, 30 more years so I can keep doing this. And the reason I post every day is because I love it. I enjoy offering my thoughts. I enjoy hearing your comments. And I enjoy the responses that indicate that what I'm saying is meaningful. And that is incredibly satisfying to me in my late stage of life. So please feel free to comment, as you always do, and leave more questions, because I could easily, I'm sure I've missed a whole lot about what I wanted to say in this video. And I'd be happy to do a follow-up or even another one. So I hope you're all having a great day, and I hope you're safe from all the smoke from the Canadian fires. I understand there are many, many fires going on throughout the world, and I think we're having a drought here in Maine, which is a little bit spooky. So I wish the best for all of you. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and thank you so much, everyone. Take care.